Sam, good to see you, man. This is going to be a short show. Sam's got something he's got to do this evening, so we're only going to have an hour to spend with you, but it'll be an action-packed hour. I guarantee it. It always is here on Tackle Shop Confession. What's new, man? Anything going on?
Well, we have one of the things I'm going to be doing after the show. The reason we got it in a little bit early is the guys from CCA. We're kind of getting together, and kind of the big topic right now is getting ready for the banquet. You know that they have. It's in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Last year was a great turnout. We had a lot of guys come out. I was able to get a couple of really cool limited kind of hard to get rods, and so guys came down to do that. I know some of the captains from 22nd Street Landing, and I think maybe Marina Del Rey, or a couple of the captains came down, and you can kind of go down there and hang out with those guys, and that was cool. We had some different activities, and it's a fundraiser for CCA. We have silent auctions and raffles and all kinds of stuff like that. I know that I think CCA gets a trip from Benny Florentino. He does that bass fishing stuff. Super cool trip.
Yeah.
That's kind of something you can win. We had one rod last year that went got bid up to $1,000. Kind of like a super cool rod. I mean, all the captains were fighting for it, trying to get
really.
It. Yeah. And every single one of them afterwards said, "Man, if I would have bid another $20, another $20, you know." But just how it goes. It was pretty cool. So we're gonna try to bring a lot of that stuff back together. And tonight we're gonna be kind of talking about that. And so that's what we got to end early.
Are we talking about it on here too a little bit more, or you guys are in the planning stage?
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of the planning stages, kind of figuring out what we're gonna get, who's gonna be working this and that.
Then we'll break it here. I mean, we'll talk a lot more about it in the future.
Yeah. But for you guys that are interested, kind of keep tabs on that. I know that as soon as I get some information, I'll pass it on to Phil, and you can talk about it.
Perfect. That sounds good to me. Kaz Okamoto.
Kaz
Okamoto. I haven't heard that name since 1988 when I was a teacher at Bishop Montgomery High School. Tell everybody what the connection is. My student came back.
So Kaz he's a super cool dude. He's been in here quite a few times actually, buying fishing tackle and stuff. And he came by today and he brought a box. Normally a guy brings a box like that that's full of reels that they want to get line on. So I was busy with another customer, so I kind of felt bad. By the time I got to him, like, "Oh, sorry, man, you need some line in those reels?" He's like, "No, I'm actually donating." And I'm like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And so then I saw what it was, and he's like, "Yeah, I've seen, on the show, and then you've been posting repeatedly with Diego about donating stuff."
Yeah.
And so he came down to donate it, and he mentioned that he was your student.
That is for sure. Are we having some technical difficulties? Apparently we are, but I think we're back, maybe.
Missed the whole story.
Kaz missed the whole thing, yeah. So did everybody else.
Sorry.
Hey, if you didn't get the Kaz story, let us know for sure. We'll tell it. We'll give it to you again. So, Sam, there's endless fishing possibilities. We do have, however, some windy weather out there on Tanner and Cortez.
Yeah.
We were just at 22nd Street, man. The Freedom's pointing her bow out that way, and so's the Amigos. So who knows?
Well,
and they were down at the south end, the south, and they found the best bluefin bite they've had all year long. They said it was full speed, came up at 10 o'clock in the morning, went wild. They got 20 fish, not bad, to 50 pounds, pretty good. And then the last time I talked to them around noon, they were heading in for some yellowtail because as quickly as that came up, it disappeared. Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, that stuff over there is kind of known for that, right? Where it's kind of real shifty. A lot of times you're catching yellowtail and that tuna will come around. But sometimes like how they got today is that they were able to actually target it and it had some success. So that's kind of cool.
By the way, everybody, we are collecting used fishing tackle. You can bring it here to Island Fishing Tqckle, and then we are going to get it down to Cedros Island at some point in time in the future. I have to talk to Diego a little bit more about when we're going to do that, but already we've got stuff at 22nd Street, other tackle stores. The response has been heartwarming, to say the least.
That's awesome, man. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, when I was down there, that was one thing that, just how you see kids here, maybe kids like Michael, fired up fishing on the dock there. Same thing down there, the guys are down there, they're fishing for bonita and fishing for yellowfin croaker and stuff inside the harbor there. Not to mention, I'm sure they fish other places there that, I wasn't around. But right there where we were sitting, waiting for the boats to unload and load, the kids would be there every day after school fishing right there.
It's beautiful. I mean, you see a boy like Michael, he loves fishing so much. He's here at a fishing show and he's playing games on his phone while talking.
Isn't that awesome?
He's just so consumed by fishing. Yeah, he loves it so much.
What would he do without fishing? I guess he'd be on the phone all day long.
With his phone. He's doing it while we're talking. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? All right, you want me to read a couple comments?
go, yeah.
Why not? We only have till 7 o'clock tonight. Chris
Yeah.
Navarro, hola, Grandpa Phil, and Sam, I am. Chris, always good to see you. You were here last week. I know we spent some time together, and it's good to see you here. Tyler Tanaka, love you, Tyler. Hello, Adventures family. Good evening, Sam and Phil. Halibut man, how many fish did you get, Michael? Well, so the story is, Sam, he got a sand bass. And then as we're walking out of the office at 22nd Street Landing, there's a big commotion going on. Danny Kadota's yelling, wow, it's taking line on you. And Grandpa got over, tried to get this, he says, at least a 27-inch sand bass.
Wow.
Yeah.
a
He
big
lies
one.
a lot, though. You know, he
Yeah,
said
yeah, yeah.
18 inches. 18 inches.
Still, that's a good one.
And he popped it off.
Oh,
Yes.
it
We're
broke
right.
off, or did it just come?
Whose
Oh.
fault was it? Grandpa. Woo! All right.
I had him too, man. He just got away.
Got away. He says 2 fish. We'll count that as a fish, right?
Yeah.
Catch and release. Good job. Roger Massage says, hi, Phil and Sam. Good to see you, Roger. Chris Long. Thank you, Chris, for being here. Gonzalez Fishing 247. Good afternoon, Sam and Phil. Sam, feliz
Yo.
Dia de Independencia de
That's right.
Mexico. El Grito
Independence
de
Day.
Dolores. All that great stuff. Yeah, I've been wishing. I actually sent my wife, Feliz Independencia, and she sent me back Costa Rica's independence. So good stuff. Had so many great times on that side of the border and deeply appreciative for it all. Robert Graber, good evening, Phil, Sam, Michael, Marcus, and the Friedman Adventures family. Marcus is Mackie, in case you didn't know. Happy Monday. Good to see you here. Jake says we are good now. All right, good times. Robert Graver, have a wonderful time in Florida. Thank you so much, Robert. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we get in on that mullet run.
So when are you going?
October 14th.
You were saying that he was.
He's looking into it, trying to make that all happen.
You were saying that it's a big deal during that time.
He said that's when
Yeah.
it's going on.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos on
I have.
YouTube. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's bitching,
probably as
right?
close as I would think that you can get to like a Cedro style
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
there's
right?
All kinds of live from predators right on the beach there.
Yeah.
And guys, they go and I guess they just grab a mullet and they hook it in the
Yep.
back and they just cast it out there.
Onto a
You
tarpon.
don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, right, a black
Tarpon,
shark.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Sam, we never see anything like that on our surf
No.
in SoCal, but you do see it like Baja on
Yeah.
the East Cape, or
Yeah.
you'll see that bait come jumping up on the beach.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of that. That sounds like so much fun. So really looking forward to it. Sniper Gene, good evening, gentlemen. Sam, what are your opinions on the accurate turn 2 compared to the Shimano Trinidad for a fly line reel?
Gene, it's a really, really nice reel. The turn 2, they made some improvements over the turn 1, and I do like it a lot better. Even just the shape of the body is a little bit more ergonomic, a little bit more rounded. As far as for a fly line reel, I mean, you're pretty good on either one. Obviously, that Trinidad has been proven; it's been around for 50 years, and guys have done a lot of fishing with that reel. The turn 2, even though it's been around for a few years, I would still consider it kind of a new reel, but I will say that the turn 2 has gained a lot more, you can call it fans, guys that are just into accurates and into kind of US made reels for that specific purpose. They do make it in a really small size as well, just like the Trinidad. They make like a 300 and a 400, 500 narrow. So they got all the different same sizes like how they do on a Trinidad. And the knobs are the same. I mean, it's a pretty comparable reel, both sides of just the performance and then just the overall feel. I would say if you're looking for a fly line reel, I'd probably go with the 400. That 400 is going to hold about 300 to 350 yards of 50-pound braid, and it's going to produce a very similar drag to that Trinidad 14, which is one of my favorite fly line reels. But yeah, that turn 2 400 would be a good one to go with.
All right. Hey, we need to mention somebody else. They came in and dropped $20 off so Michael can eat wings tonight.
Right.
And that was, it wasn't Abe, right?
No.
Ranthal? Did you know his last name? Yeah. It was his brother. Anyway,
It was
he
his
came
brother.
in. Yeah. And I forget his name also. I apologize very, very profusely. But we wanted to say thank you so very much. That means the world to us. With $20, what we do is we buy like 12 or 14 wings, and we give Michael a piece of one, and then the rest of us eat the rest. So you got a piece of wing, man. There you go. Hopefully somebody else will throw in something. You can have a whole wing by the end of the night. All right. Where are we now? We are looking at Robert Brashaw. Headed to Tanner Bank to make a withdrawal tomorrow. Wish us luck, Robert. Best of luck. I hope that wind lays down for you. It's a little bit breezy out there, but those fish will bite in the breeze. I saw Jeff Marklin on the Thunderbird in the slop catching bluefin tuna today. So it looked like he was having pretty good fishing, man. I mean, all of us old timers who fished albacore know what fishing in the slop is like, right?
That was pretty much regular back
Well, I
then.
know,
I mean,
right?
that's another part of this kind of albacore thing that I think for those guys who either don't remember or just have never had that experience is, man, it seems like 3/4 of the time it was windy
Yep.
and
Oh, yeah.
half the boat was sick and all that kind of stuff. That was pretty common. Nowadays, though, we kind of wait for the good weather. We have so many more resources for looking for that you can look 10 days out and see what the weather is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
not back then. You just
I-
kind of went.
I love the people who would make the mistake. They come down to Fisherman's Landing, it'd be 85 degrees, and
Yeah.
it's 8 o'clock at night. They don't bring like a sweatshirt or anything, and you get offshore, and they're like, "I'm freezing to death."
It was.
I go, "I know,
It
man."
was common July, August. It'd
Yeah.
still be cold and breezy and overcast. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this fishing we have now is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Best of luck, Robert. Hope that weather comes down and you do good. Mackie says the weather looks like poo-poo right now. What artificials do you guys like to throw when it's windy? Surf and on the sport boats. I like to stay inside where there's no wind.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess in the surf, you start throwing your metal jigs. You start doing your like knife style jigs or Cold Sniper style jigs, and that's going to cut right through the wind, especially with some lighter line. So that's probably what I would do. You can't really throw any of that Lucky Craft or things like that. And then that's the time of conditions too, where you might just kind of go to bait and start fishing some sand crabs or even that camel sandworm from Berkeley. As far as on the boat, you're going to be same thing. You're going to want to go into a heavier jig. I know down at Cedros, where it typically isn't very windy, but even when it is a little bit windy, I'll be throwing a 7X or like a Taddy 4.0 Senior. Those will kind of punch through the wind a little bit better than like let's say a Taddy C or even a 45. A 45 is a great jig, but not always the best jig for casting into the wind. Whereas like maybe that Taddy 4.0 Senior, which actually we're using quite a bit on my last trip, was working really good throwing in the wind, and that including also the 7X, which is kind of always known for a jig that'll cast into the wind.
All right, good stuff. When it's offshore, like a Santa Ana, man, you take a frickin' Lucky Craft and shoot, man, it goes 100 miles.
Yeah.
But that's not what most people are talking about. All right, very good stuff. Rob S. with Alexa 500 with 60-pound braid and a 9-foot Phoenix Abyss rod be a good setup for wahoo and pretty much all around, including yellowfin tuna.
Well, Rob, I mean, it would definitely be a something to kind of have fun with. I wouldn't really consider it a good setup. I mean, something that's got a little bit more line capacity, also a little bit just a larger handle. That wahoo especially is one in which when you get a bite, especially fishing a jig, you want to be able to kind of wind through the bite, and that's what's going to get you a hook set. Those smaller reels, even though they do cast very, very good, they don't have as much cranking power. So when you're winding real fast and you get a bite, you might find that it's a little hard to sometimes set the hook with the handle. That being said, I mean, I would say, wahoo up to 30, 40 pounds, you'd probably be okay on that Lexa. Although I've seen some wahoo, you get into that kind of fishing down there and you hook a 50, 60 pounder, man, I think can peel off 200 yards of line like nothing. And so you're kind of on the fence there as far as whether or not it'll be enough, because I think that Lexa 500, it'll hold about 300 yards of that 60 pound. So I think you're still pretty good. Even on the yellowfin, not so bad. I think on that yellowfin, although they've been catching them to like 80 pounds, man. So not that it can't do it. The reel will probably do it just fine, but you are going to find that you're going to be especially with a 9-foot rod, you're going to be kind of in a position where it's not going to be the easiest fight, but it can do it for sure. I would prefer something a little bit heavier, thinking, if you hook a big fish, but I think that Alexa 500, the reel itself should hold up just fine.
All right, good stuff. Hey, Jeff Yeomans joins us. Jeff, thank you for your service. 540 Slingers Club says, good evening, Sam. And Phil Patrick Hornjack says, hello, Friedman Adventures family. Patrick was on that vagabond trip where they ran down there and just cranked on the yellowfin tuna. Had a great
300
trip.
or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It was an awesome trip, no question about it. Cal, hey, I know Cal. There he is right there. He's asking a question. Fish processing for the trip on the Apollo. Two things can be true at the same time, Cal. Number one, they'll cut fish on the Apollo. So if you're good with that, they'll do that. Or I forget the name of the.
Mario's.
Yeah, Mario's right there at Seaforth. Now,
Do you guys come back in the morning?
no, we come back in the evening. Are they closed or well? How's that work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't drop off. They'll tell, if you make the thing, they'll tell you can drop it off.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can do a drop
Yeah,
off.
you
So
may
we'll
not-
check with Mario.
Yeah, you may not be able to pick it up that same day. You might have to come back and pick it up.
Yeah, definitely. I would think because they're not going to fillet till midnight or anything.
No.
But yeah, Mario's is right there when we come in. You can literally walk to it. So we'll figure that out. But they do cut on the Apollo, so that won't be a problem. Our friend Tyler Tanaka, who did a great intro for the morning briefing. I got to run that again. Sam, can you talk about cutting down rod lengths from 9 to 10-foot jig sticks to a shorter size? In general, how does the action change as you trim the butt side shorter?
Mm-hmm. So Tyler, I mean, it really depends on the blank itself. Some of the blanks, because they bend further down, the more you're cutting off the butt end of the rod or the fatter end of the rod, the more you're going to be losing on just general backbone. So that's going to be one of the things to consider. So it depends on the blank. I know with Tyler, he was looking at picking up another jig stick for fishing cedros. And in the blanks that he was checking out or we were talking about was more of those longer, heavier Seeker rods. In that case, that rod, I probably would cut most off the butt and then a little bit off the tip. So what cutting the tip does is that when you go to cast a rod, the tip of the rod or the top section of the rod is gonna flex as you want to cast. So if you want to cast something small like a live bait, you really can't cut off a whole lot of the top because you're going to lose a lot of that loading up that you would get from that tip. As you get heavier and heavier casting surface iron, what you're going to be doing is that you're going to be kind of cutting out maybe some of the jigs you may be able to cast well with that blank because you're cutting out some of that loading or that flexing of the tip. For down at Cedros, we're typically casting very heavy jigs, bigger jigs for those big yellowtail down there. So you can probably get away with cutting off a little bit more. I personally feel like I wouldn't like to cut off a whole lot. The reason being is that when you have a rod that loads up, if you leave some of that tip there, it's going to basically load more of the rod with a lot less effort. The more that you're cutting off of the tip, the more you're going to have to push the rod harder to be able to bend that top part of the rod, and so that's going to require a little more effort to cast. Not that it can't be casted, you can cast any rod, but it's definitely going to take a little bit more effort to cast a rod that has less tip. But on the other hand, you'll also probably be able to cast a heavier jig. It'll probably handle a heavier jig just fine. So that's kind of a general term, but the first part of it is that it really depends on the blank and how far back it will bend as to how much you can cut off each end.
All right, very good, Tyler. Great question as always. Patrick Harnjack is back. Sam, do you sell any of the Penn Fathom first generation reels, the black ones?
I have a few left. I definitely don't have all the sizes left, but I do have a few left. I think maybe some 15s and 30s, and I think that's it. Maybe some left-hander reels as well. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, you can post it here. You can give us a call, and we'll see if we have it in stock.
And you'll ship it up to Utah to Patrick for sure. Chris Navarro. Chris is back with us. Good to see you, Chris. Sam, do they still make Shimano wax wings?
They don't, Chris. That's a lure that they've discontinued here a few years back, and I think we have a few left here, but they don't make them anymore.
All right, no more wax wings. So sorry to tell you that. Ken Trenholm. Hello, Friedman Adventures family. Can't wait to see everybody on the Apollo trip. That's going to be a great one. Ken, the weather's going to come down. The fish are going to bite. I'm going to give your mom a hug at the docks, and it's all going to be great. Rob S., thanks. Would be the Shimano 2-speed Master 12 with a 7-foot California rod be better for the Wahoo?
Yeah, I definitely would prefer that setup for sure. I mean, I would almost say that depending on which rod, you said you had a 9-foot Phoenix Abyss, so depending on which 9-foot rod you have, if it's the heavier one like a 909, I probably would almost prefer the 2-speed Speedmaster on that 9-foot rod for Wahoo fishing. But if it's a lighter rod, not their heaviest one, then I think this one here that you're talking about, if that rod is something rated like a 30 to 80, I think you'd be fine. If it's any lighter than that, I'd probably would search out a heavier rod. Something rated 30 to 80, 7 to 8 foot. An 8 foot rod is probably the most common rod you're going to see, but a 7 foot rod will work just fine as long as it's got a nice stiff tip. Because once again, you really want to put and keep a lot of pressure on this wahoo when you do start fighting them as well. But that 2-speed Speedmaster would be fine. On the other hand, you might even look at putting and maybe just switching those two. If that rod's heavier, the 9 foot rod, I probably would just switch your reels when it comes to wahoo fishing and just go that route.
All right, good stuff. Really appreciate that. Hit that like button, please. Don't forget, morning briefing tomorrow morning, bright and early. Doug Rubin, El Sueño. Good evening, everyone. Where do I drop off fishing equipment in San Diego? Doug, I haven't organized that yet. Maybe Luke over there at what's the name of his place? You know who I'm talking about, Sam?
Yeah, English Choice.
Yeah, English Choice. I'll give Luke a call in the morning, see if we can't do that for you. PNS, Hornjack, Sam, do you ever have spots open up on your Cedros trip? Yeah, Bob Giver just grabbed it, man. So you're too late, Patrick. A like for next year. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, the general rule is that the guys who are coming off the trip have 30 days to sign before anybody else does. But that's going to come up pretty quick. If I was you, I would definitely just call down, talk to Rosie, and have her put you on the list. Because basically, the way it's going to work is that who's ever on that list is going to get on first. So. Generally, there's only 12 spots total, and I'm going to be one of the guys, so there's really only 11 spots kind of total. And Bob Gifford's already on, so that's 10. So, you want to get on that list pretty early. So that's going to be your best way to get on there. I wouldn't wait too long if you want to go fishing with us next year.
All right, and that's such a great trip. And Rosie, thank you. In case you ever listen to this, thank you so much for your lovely comments. Sam raves about your place. I can't wait to come down there and check it out for myself. Doug Rubin's back and wants to know if you carry seal-proof bait receivers for his slip.
I don't. I know what he's talking about. It's basically like a giant trash can looking thing that you use so that the seals won't get the bait that you're trying to cure. I don't have those here. That'd be probably something you might get at like, I don't know, I'm not sure where down there in San Diego, but if I find something, I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have a resource for that either.
All right, very good. Richie Rich says 36 years ago, and I think that was 1988. Maybe that's why he's saying that.
It could be
36 years ago, 1988. I think it is. We were catching 10-pound bonito on the barge. I was 10 years old, and I could still hear Cordy screaming his head off. Get the gap. How time flies. Oh, man. Do you remember
yelling at me.
Gordy! Remember that? Yeah.
Yep.
People yelling at Gordy. Was Eddie Leland around in those days, or he'd moved on to?
He had moved on by then, I think. Yeah, I didn't know him back then.
That's crazy, man. So you worked with Gordy?
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Gordy and Casey.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Casey comes in here still all the time.
Yeah, he's in here all the time.
That's awesome. Southern Hallie says, good evening, Phil and Sam. And, of course, can't forget about Michael Limon. Oh, very good. I'm still here waiting on the bluefin tuna to head over our way down the Channel Islands. Anyway, gentlemen, have a good day. Hey, Southern Hallie, they had some fish out there by Nicholas. So.
I think that's where it first started almost. When it first started getting kind of hot and heavy was out there by San Nicolas Island.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll even get better for you as we push into the fall. Tyler Tanaka, Chris Navarro, I might have bought all the good colors already, but stock eBay for wax wings. There are often listings for various sizes. There you are. All right. Roger Massage. Sam, if I just got a Talica 25 spooled with 100-pound braid and top shot of 100-pound mono, can I fish rockfish if I connect 30-pound fluorocarbon? He's getting in danger of me cutting this off.
Yeah.
At the end of the 100-pound mono. I'm only kidding, Roger.
I mean, that's definitely something. If you went fishing and only took one rod and reel, yeah, you can make that work. But I definitely would probably recommend something smaller and easier to use for that specific purpose, especially, unless you already know that that's going to be your last stop of the trip and you're not going to do anything else. The last thing you'd want to do is have a situation in which now you need that rig, like, they get a call from somebody, hey man, 10 miles away, we got some tuna happening. And now you're trying to cut off all that stuff off of your main tuna rig. But if you got something smaller, I definitely would recommend that. If you don't, I guess that would work. You could probably get away almost with just mono, even it doesn't have to be fluorocarbon at the end of your rig there. The only thing I can see as possibly being a negative is that with that heavy braid and the heavy top shot mono, is if you guys have any kind of drift or current, it's really going to scope out quick. So I would say just be aware of that. You might have to use a ton of weight to be able to stay vertical.
All right, good stuff. Steve Nyes is here, and he wants to know, did I bring a helmet with me tonight? There's plenty of tackle boxes around. Yes, I got hit in the head with a tackle box during an earthquake the other day. Did you see that?
I saw it.
That was painful.
Was it?
Oh, my
I
God.
saw the face you
Dan
made.
had those rockfish.
Very dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You're not buying it or
No.
what? You're not?
Not really.
A lot of people bought that, man. What are you talking?
They're being nice. They're being nice.
Show us the stitches.
Yeah.
They're up there, man. I'll show them to you later. All right, good stuff. Steve, yes, I do have that. Vanilla ice cream. That sounds like one of Mackey's buddies. I just screwed it up here. Hold on. Vanilla ice cream. Hey, good evening. Vanilla ice cream checking in. And just wanted to say I'm glad I found your channel. I appreciate the effort you put into the videos. I appreciate you saying that. I'm happy you found the channel also, and thank you so very much for being with us the evening, Sam, and I deeply appreciate it. Patrick Hornjack, do you know the dates for your next Cedro charter next year?
Yeah, I think it's working out. I was checking it out the other day. It's working out to be the same dates as it was this year, leaving September 2nd, so it'll be the day after Labor Day, and come back on the Sunday on the 7th. So it's 2nd to the 7th. Rosie may or may not have the schedule out for next year already posted on the website. If she does, obviously, you'll see us there. But otherwise, you can just give her a call and get on that list. I was talking to Steve, actually, and he was even mentioning, trying to figure out a way to get 2 airplanes. There's so many people that want to go on this trip.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
But
thing.
there's only 12, beds, at the resort on the one side. They actually have 2 resorts that they work out of, but I think the other one already has a trip running at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
because I guarantee you could fill it up at this point.
well, I mean, I would say half or more than half of the guys are going to sign up for sure, 100%. I know Jody's going again for sure.
Yeah.
But a bunch of guys, and I know, Bob Gifford already signed up for next year, so it's going to fill up pretty quick. I think it's definitely going to be in your interest to call down there and just get yourself on that list.
Jody, thank you so much for the bluefin tuna you delivered to Surfside, California. I deeply appreciate it. What a good guy.
Jody's the man.
I love Jody, man. He's
He's a
all
good
right.
dude.
Ernie Montano. Do you know Ernie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You do?
I think
oh,
so.
You've got my sympathy. Oh, man. Ernie, I'm just kidding. Hi, Sam and Phil. Thank you so much for all the excellent advice you guys are giving. I hope your listeners appreciate you. We do too, damn it. You put in a lot of hard work to keep us entertained in this wonderful sport. Ernie, hope to see you soon, my friend. Thank you so much. James, where can I find out what groups charter out the Highliner so I can jump on? Want to fish with Max and Jason, and I don't blame you because those guys have been kicking butt this year, man. They're really on it. And Max is a good source for me, man. He's always, I don't know. Why? Are they chartered the whole year?
They're
Probably,
definitely
huh?
more of a charter type, operation.
Yeah.
But I would imagine maybe Fisherman's Landing or something like that might have it. Or I would just contact them, I guess.
Yeah, call the boat.
Call the boat. Yeah, they got a phone number on their website, and that's probably what I would start for sure.
Yeah, try that, James, and best of luck. That's a great rig and a couple of great guys on that, a bunch of great guys on that boat. Gonzalez Fishing 247. Sam, how much does a ticket cost for next year? It depends. A speeding ticket like 35 in a kids zone is $100, I think. A ticket on what? Your Cedro trip?
I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Who was asking that?
Gonzalez Fishing 247.
Oh, for that guy? No. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
double the price. You don't like Gonzalez?
No. So I think that if you're talking about the Cedro trip, it's going to be $33.50 or something like that is the price for that trip for next year. I'm sure she'll have it posted real soon.
And that includes what? Just so people know, $33.50 is a bargain.
So that's going to include your flight. It's going to include all your fishing, all your accommodations there, which means all your food, your fish cleaning, and obviously the stay down there at the lodge. The only thing it doesn't include would be tips for the staff there in your pongero, and then also if you decide you wanted to buy a case of beer or something like that, you could buy that down there. I think it was $30 a case this past time. But with exchange rates and things like that, it might be less or might be more right around there. But but yeah, generally you're looking at just like any other trip, you're looking at about 18 to 20% a tip. So you figure about $650 in a tip. After your ticket. So all the way around, by the time you figure a little bit of tackle, I got to imagine you're about $4,000, to be honest with you, even though you might see some other operations post some prices for a lot less. Sometimes they'll charge for certain small little things, maybe taking extra rods or things like that. They have like kind of little surcharges. So it ends up being at least a very similar price from what I've heard from different customers that go down there with different operations. But you figure, and the trip that we're taking is a 6-day trip, so it's the longest amount of time from Tuesday to Sunday. They do have some trips on there that are shorter, so it'd be a little bit less money, and so there's different options for that too.
All right, sounds great. By the way, I'm a Three Stooges fan, so they were detectives once, and some guy stole 23 bottles of beer, and Shimp said to Mo, the DA dropped the charges against that guy. He says, how come? He said he couldn't make a case out of 23 bottles. There it is. All right. I thought we got rid of Ernie Montano. He's back again?
He's back.
I booked a 5-day fishing trip on the Independence from December 26th to January 31st. Not sure what we will be fishing for, but one thing for sure, I'll be living the life of luxury on that great boat. We love the Independence. We have a trip on there in April, everybody. You can join us on that one. Just call the Independence office and ask them for the Friedman Adventures trip in April. It's late April. Sniper Gene. Sam, are the Shimano Talica A's a huge improvement over the original Talicas?
Well, that's a tough one. Those original Talicas are definitely very, very nice. They continue to be very nice reels. I definitely feel like they've made some nice improvements. Doesn't mean that you're going to bring in a fish twice as fast or you're going to cast twice as far or things like that. But a few changes that they made, I do really like. The shape of the body, I think, is a little bit more comfortable. And I mean a little bit. It isn't like it's, when you say huge improvement, I don't think you can improve on what they already had by that much. I do feel like it's an improvement for sure. I know that Talica 25 with that bigger handle and the lower gearing, I feel like is probably one of the larger changes that they made in any of the models. So I think that's a pretty nice one. But they are a smooth reel already, and they do feel a little bit smoother in the new style. I think if you have the old one, you're probably good, but if you're just the kind of guy who wants all the newest stuff and wants something that's a tad bit better, the new one is a tad bit better for sure. I would agree, and it's one of those things that I think you have to kind of like hold them side by side to really notice the difference. It isn't such a big difference that it's obvious right away. But I think when you turn the handle side by side under a good load, you will notice a little bit of a difference, and they are a little nicer.
All right, very good. Tyler Tanaka says, Phil, do you have any openings on upcoming Friedman Adventures charters? If so, what dates and details? May have 1 or 2 spots on the Amigo. I think it's sold out, and I say I think because I'm waiting for a deposit from a guy who said he's got it. So, but he's been kind of dragging his feet a little bit. So we may have an opening on that one, and then that will be it. November, we're on the Independence for 8 days. That's sold out, and then we'll start working on 25. We'll have all those trips, so you can join us on one next year, Tyler, for sure. But Amigo, October 6th through the 8th, 22nd Street Landing. It is possible. If you want to reach out to me, I can let you know tomorrow. Cool Granddaddy forever. That's Abe. He loves you.
I love him too.
You do? Abe, he loves you. Dude, can you do that heart thing with your, make a heart with your fingers? How do you do that? What is that thing? How do you do that? I see these. I don't want to say what I was going to say. These dumb bro. No, is that a heart?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There it is.
There it
See?
is.
That's for Abe. What does he want? Oh, he wants to know if Cal's going. Yeah, he's going.
He's going.
He's going. He's gone. He just walked out of
Yeah.
here. He's gone. He's on the Amigo trip.
He's gone and he's going.
Chris Long. Michael, jump up and down and do jumping jacks when it's 5 to 7 because Sam's got an important meeting. Thanks for the information, y'all. Thank you, Chris, for
Welcome.
being here, man. Really appreciate it. Ken Trent. Oh, my God, we're getting some chicken wing money already. I see it down there. I'll get to that in a moment. Man, we got a lot of freaking comments on there. I better start catching up. Phil, you're doing great on the carnivore diet. Have you ever had Cardiff Crack? It's Seaside Market's tri-tip. I'll pick up some good stuff. I'll try it, man. If it's meat, I'll eat it. Joe says, I want to talk about the sinking of the jig strike. Have you ever fished at Ben's Rock out of San Quintin? I have. Um, that's a there's a phenomenon that occurs and a swell that will cause a giant wave to occur. Do you remember? Maybe talking about the fishing fool that rolled over there in exactly that kind of a rogue wave scenario, and I think two people survived that, or one person survived it. So, as far as the jig strike, I'm hanging on till the investigation's done. Let that all play out, and we'll figure out what happened there. If that's good with you, Joe, we don't want to speculate, right, Sam? Any advice on how to cope with all the excitement,
man,
Sam?
that's so
You love
hard.
the Royal Star,
Yeah,
man.
that's hard. You're going to be going on a prime, primo boat with very, very, very just great crew and just great accommodations. I think those trips there are so hard. To as you're getting closer and closer, all you can do is just go to the tackle shop and buy more and more stuff every time guys come in. I'm like, man, I think you got it all. Like, well, let me buy a couple of this or that. And I'm like, well, okay. And they'll come back next couple of days. They're like, man, I think I got to buy some of this. I'm like, I think you got it all. Nope. I want to buy some more of these. I'm like, okay, for sure. So, but yeah, just do your best, man. It's going to be a great trip.
All right, perfect. Hey, do we need a reboot on that? Does it say reboot or anything on that camera? No, doesn't say anything. Okay. Let's see. Chris Navarro. Sam, will you be carrying Paula Limon sport fishing T-shirts? Paula Limon.
We'll have their people talk to my people, I guess. Yeah.
That's Paulina Suegro right there.
Yeah.
Do you know what a suegro is?
No.
That's her father-in-law. The funny-looking guy with the big mustache?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your grandpa. All right. Who knows, Chris? We'll save you one. I got a whole car full of her stuff, yeah, which my wife is thrilled about. Let me tell you. Like, what are you doing, Paul? Yeah. All right. Joe says the boat that sank and 12 anglers drowned due to the fact the skipper did not fish outside the rock and his boat went over and it capsized.
Wow.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, Joe, that was a very sad time down there, Fisherman's Landing. So, Chad Christopher, good evening, gents. Phil, I'm happy you weren't my date to the pre-Emmy party last week. He invited me to go on this red carpet thing.
Yeah.
And I actually was doing something with my wife. So when I went over to his house to have sushi, oh my God, this Brazilian girl that was there. Just about, I was ready to leave Ruth for this girl. She was gorgeous. Anyway, he ended up taking her. Good choice. They dumped me and went with her. Good going. Sam, I'll be in the shop soon to gear up for my Apollo trip with Friedman Adventures. See
nice.
you soon. You made a wise choice on that date. Let me tell you, Chad. Soren Singh. Sam, how long does it take to wrap a 9-foot blank?
That has a lot of variables involved with that. I mean, depends on what kind of handle you're going to put on, what kind of wrap you're going to put on. But I mean, the most simplest wrap, I think you can probably get the whole rod done. And well, wrapping it and then finishing is going to be two different things, because the finishing process can take a couple of days. But if you just sat down and just laid down the thread with no finish, I mean, conceivably you can get a rod done in an hour or so. But that is with the most simplest wrap, and then maybe not even taking into account that you have to make sure that you straighten the guides and stuff like that, But a rod properly done by most rod wrappers would call it a medium level of intricacy in the wraps, and then also including the handle and finish. You're probably talking about 16 to 20 hours of work or something like that, if I had to kind of take a guess. But there's definitely a lot of variables in that question there. So it's almost like saying, how long is it going to take to wash, to clean a house? Well, if it's a 1-bedroom house, it's going to take so long. If it's a 15-bedroom house, it's going to take a lot longer. So it just depends on what you're getting done.
Juan Carlos Perez wants to know, quiere saber si hay un cupón. Is there a coupon? I'm interested in the Avid LX Raptor Plus. Is there a coupon?
Yeah, I don't have any coupons, unfortunately.
I've got them.
You got them?
Yeah, it's for bananas, though, at
Yeah.
grocery outlet.
But Juan, if you come down, I'll mention that you asked about that specific reel on the show. I'll definitely give you a discount, man.
All right. Hey, Juan, there you are, man. You got your coupon. Quintine, Sam, I am on a 1.5-day trip on the Highliner on Friday. Say hi to Max for me. And Jason, it looks like an early departure, So 2 nights of fishing. What tackle, rod, and reel setup would you recommend? Phil, how can I send you a picture? Depends upon what kind of pictures you want to send, man. 657-227-6459. Send it right there, please.
Yeah, Quentin. I mean, it's right now. It's kind of all over the place. That night fishing is kind of, not necessarily gone away, but it's not full speed like it was maybe a month ago.
Very true.
Doesn't mean it won't come back. Sometimes it seems like it's been around this full moon where it's kind of shifted back and forth. The daytime fishing continues to be pretty decent though. So I would definitely kind of make sure that you're well stocked in your like 20 to 30 pound fluorocarbon, size 4, 2 and 1 size ringed hooks, circle hooks. That's going to be probably going to be the volume of as far as numbers of the fish being caught on the trip from what we've seen the last couple of days. But that can change. I mean, that nighttime bite, I know a few boats have had some success better than others. So if you're lucky enough, and I think the Highliner did pretty good the other day, didn't
Yeah,
they?
he did. He was 5 fish short of limits.
Yeah, so you get on a boat like that just kind of happens to find the right school, and that's kind of been and going to be probably going to be the deal here this next couple of days for sure. Is not necessarily finding fish, but wanting to find a school of fish that want to bite, and that stuff. They're finding fish. It isn't like they're not finding them. It's just whatever's going on. In the bluefin world there that they just aren't biting at night as much as they were a while back. But that can turn on, and usually when it turns on, it'll be like night and day. From one day to the next, it'll be like nothing, and then the next day it's full speed. So you have to kind of still be ready for that. So once again, kind of a repetitive recommendation is everything from 20 pound to 100 pound. If you got it, pretty much you got to take it.
Jake Weingarten. Jake sends $5. Deeply appreciate you, Jake. Thank you so very much. With a request, wake up, Michael. He says so. Michael, you're up to a half a wing right now, man. Get excited. Patrick Harnjack up there with Sarah in Utah. By the way, if anyone needs a fish processor and doesn't mind hauling their fish over, I highly suggest San Diego Fish Processing. They go above and beyond on service, great quality. Yeah, he was really high on those guys. San Diego Fish Processing was cheaper than the big three, and they went above and beyond, pressure washed out the bed of my pickup and provided free ice. Will they wash my car if I just go over there? I don't have any fish?
I'm pretty sure
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'll be right over, boys. Cue ball, Sam, Phil, Sam. Had a great yellowtail trip, I hear. That's real bite sweet.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yep. Some had a great yellowtail trip I hear. Oh yeah.
Sam did. You did.
Yeah,
On your you had 140
trip.
fish? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Caught them on a sabiki 5 at a time.
64 fish,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, got it, Q-Ball. I'm
It
getting.
was an awesome trip, man.
Yeah,
Awesome
it
trip.
was, man. I can't wait to do it. Gifford's going next year, man. It's going to be one of his favorite trips.
You might not get season.
You would probably get at least 15 or 20 hours total of just great footage. I mean,
man.
just
I'm in.
I mean, it'd be crazy.
I'm
You'd
getting.
have footage for months.
Really?
I would think, for
Yeah.
sure.
Just short after short after
Oh my gosh.
video after video after.
At the hotel. I mean, from the moment we leave, just you would
Yeah, the
you'd be
plane.
blown away by just how easy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If
Yeah.
they let you, I don't know if they let you film inside the airport. It probably wouldn't be too bad.
That's a good question.
But even still, right, from
We
there
can
to
sneak
get
it
to
a
the
little bit.
airplane,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty freaking cool.
Mackie frickin' filmed driving into friggin' Mexico, and the federales
Oh,
pulled
that's
us right
right,
over.
that's
Man. Mackie, what's wrong with you?
Never filmed again.
All right, cool, granddaddy. Abe, good evening, Friedman Adventure family. Sam, do you ever have dorks come in? Yeah, you were in earlier today, weren't you, Abe? And by trolling line, when you told them you wanted 400 yards of Spectra, 100, if so, do you bop them in the head or try to be patient? His brother obviously screwed
yeah.
everything up.
Yeah, his brother
I can read
said
between the
that
lines
was
there.
going to happen.
Oh, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
My God, we're starting to get more money on chicken wings. I can't wait, man. Woo-hoo! All right, where are we? We're with Carlos. Hey, Carlos G. Hello, Sam, Phil, and Mr. Lemon, he says.
Mr. Lemon.
That's what it says. Nice to be back
Hey,
home.
that's right,
I
Carlos.
was gone on vacation for 3 weeks.
Awesome.
What's going on with the bluefin tunas? Walking my dog right now. Saludos. It's a little bit off the bite now, but it's still pretty darn good. There's a few big fish, Carlos. And when you tune into the morning briefing, we'll have it all for you tomorrow. Right, Sam?
That's right.
Cool, granddaddy. Forever, Chad, I have a great story There needs to be a movie about a handsome paratrooper that went fishing when he got out. There you are. Oh, the Brazilian girl he's after, huh? Man, let me tell you. Woo! Cool granddaddy forever. That's my boy. Love you, Michael. And you too, Mackie, my boy. Mackie, you're Abe's boy. Doesn't say a damn thing about Samurai. Soran, thank you. You're welcome. Juan Carlos Perez, thanks you for
You're
the
welcome.
coupon. Good job. James, any spots open, interested in possibly going?
Talking about the 2-day or
Or
depends on
no,
which one there,
today we
James.
have possibility on October 6th or the 8th and Cedros.
Cedros, yeah, call down and talk to Rosie. I think if you call right now, there's a pretty good chance you'll get on.
Chris Navarro sends $20.
For a
He
t-shirt.
says it's for a t-shirt though. Well, Chris, you're breaking this little boy's heart. How about we use the $20 for the chicken wings and then I'll give you a t-shirt, which is virtually the same thing. But I don't know. I just don't want to hurt his feelings. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Would you be okay if we didn't go get chicken wings tonight? No answer, huh? All right, we're getting toward the end here, Sam, because what time is it?
6:51.
What do you got, like 4 minutes?
4 minutes.
4 minutes, Susan Sosa. Anyone interested in original Lucky David irons, which became Taddy Lures?
I
Wow.
probably would call Taddy up. I'm sure they would be.
Yeah,
For sure.
Susan, send me a text on that. You sound like an interesting person. Maybe we can do a podcast on that. And then we'll double the price and sell them to over there at Taddy. No, just kidding. Chad Christopher. Haha, I hear the pitch. Let's fish it. Over it. Yes, thank
Fish
you.
over it.
Michael Krinkovich, who is on the Amigo. Phil, saw the Life's Good group with the nonprofit group for disabled folks on the Native Sun
Oh,
yesterday.
Cool.
I saw a bunch of those people maybe a month ago that were on the Native Sun, and I ran. It was just so touching to see people like that, you know, in a wheelchair and enjoying the sport we love so much. And then the guy that does the veterans, I can't remember his name right now, but he was up in the Channel Islands. There was a lot of old guys, veterans in wheelchairs catching fish, and that choked me up a little bit. So thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Live free, die free. Sam, what gear would you take on an 8-day trip? We don't have
man.
time to
Yeah,
tell you.
I'm probably going to give you the short answer here. You know, it's kind of like these bluefin trips. You are taking everything from 20 pound to 100 pound. You never know. It's going to be on the tuna that they're catching right now down there. It's going to be 30, 40, 50 pound test. It's going to be your main thing. Some of these boats are coming in and fishing some of the coastline, so that comes even. You might need to take some 20 to 30 pound tests for some bass fishing, and then there's some yellowtail stuff too. You might be taking some yo-yo jigs, and then with the 8-day trip, you introduce wahoo, which is going to be a whole another tackle box. Just about the rods and reels not so much different. It's going to be like an 8-foot rod that you would use like for yellowtail fishing, or even a 9-foot jig stick that you would use for like yellowtail fishing. Something with a rod rated like a 30 to 60 or something like that is going to be fine. 30 to 80. And a 7 to 8 foot rod would still be fine with that too. But more of your terminal tackle, you're going to add a lot of wahoo stuff that you wouldn't use any other time. So that's the short answer. We'll have to come back to that one.
Perfect. Cue Ball says, my name is Quentin also. LOL.
That's a cool name.
All right, cool. I like Cue Ball though too. They were rocking the Lanny, Michael says. Krinkovich. Michael, good to see you. And Chris Navarro sends $10. So we got a 20 for the t-shirt, a 10 for your chicken wing. You're up to 2 wings. What flavors do you want?
Mango Tango and Buffalo Gold.
Mango Tango, and in honor of our friend Sam de la Torre, Buffalo Gold, your
Yeah.
favorite. Not Buffalo.
Buffalo Gold.
Buffalo Gold. What's the difference?
Ah, it tastes good.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what they make it out of. Yeah.
How does one get a Paulina t-shirt? Now, I can help you there, Chris. I got a whole damn car full of that stuff. So, yeah.
$20. That's
Yeah.
how it does it.
Yeah. What is she charging? I think she's charging $12. So, yeah, 25 and you can have one. No problem. I don't know. She sent me a list, I think. So, I'll look it up and figure it out. But I'll save you one of those for sure. Paulina. You better watch this guy moving in on your girl, let me tell you. Do we need to say goodbye?
Yeah, let's.
It's 6:55.
Yeah, guys. Sorry for the short show this
Yeah,
week.
this bums me
I know
out.
it feels like we're really getting warmed up, but we got to do this. Take care of this business with CCA, and I'll let you know more about it
Please.
as soon as we can have some more information.
Sam, always good to
Yeah,
see
man.
you. All right, we'll see you morning briefing tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thanks for being here for Tackle Shop Confessions. One more thing. Thanks for taking the time for the show tonight, guys. Even shorter. It's great to tune in. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like button. We'll see you soon.